I'll go ahead and just name out my lineup. So I got C.J. Stroud playing this week. After what they did to Jacksonville, I'm like, man, I'm just starting. Why not? Because originally I had Trevor Lawrence, and I was just like,
you still have him? You ain't cut him, did you?
I ain't cut him. I still have him. So I got some hope.
They play Atlanta this week.
I don't even know about that one. I thought Houston was a sure thing.
And who Houston play?
Houston plays Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh ain't really playing that well.
They haven't been. I'm trying to think of how good they pass defense is. CJ might be. Their secondary normally be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor playing Atlanta.
They might.
Man, I think Jacksonville just plays away from snapping. That's tough. I can understand you. I think both of them will have a good game.
Look, I could try Trevor Lawrence one more time.
I think Trevor's about to get right. I think him and Ridley about to turn up.
Okay. Look, I might try.
We saw what they could do week 1.
Yeah.
And that's against the Colts. The Colts are good defense.
Yeah.
So I think Jacksonville is just having little struggles right now. I think they're about to crank up because I got Trevor Lawrence in a couple leagues too. But
okay.
I've been watching their games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm just saying.
He's been playing good. It's just the receivers. They lead the league in drops.
Yeah.
But Trevor Lawrence been playing good.
Mm-hmm.
So they gonna get it right.
We'll see.
Hold your faith in Trevor.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll think about putting him back in there. I'll think about it. But
or at least keep him. Don't try to let him go yet.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has to be like very terrible for me to just be like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore.
I think they about to crank up. I can see it being a big game for them.
Yeah.
If they come out and put pressure on Atlanta early, like it's like 10-0 Jacksonville to start the game,
mm-hmm.
It might get ugly because Atlanta ain't built to come back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
they want to play with how the Lions play. They want to just run the football.
Right. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens throughout the rest of the season. But you know, I'll probably give them another chance this week just to see. But,
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got him. I got AJ Brown, Michael Thomas. I got Devon A-Chain off of free agency. I was like, yes, ain't nobody got him.
A-Chain, that's a good pickup, boy. I think, A-Chan.
Yeah.
He said he was. But A-Chan, he's going to be a league winner.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I got Alexander Madison, for Minnesota.
Yes, I got him in all my leagues too.
Okay.
He's taking KJ's spot.
Gotcha. Okay.
Keep him. Keep stocking him.
Yeah.
He's been playing well without getting all the snaps.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's about to take that next step, and every week he's been getting more and more snaps. Okay. So this might be like a big game for him.
Gotcha. Yeah, they play Carolina, so I'm like, you should be able to run right through these guys. Like it's
him and JJ should snap. Like Minnesota should put up points.
Yeah. So I went with him, and I got George Kittle at tight end, and then I got Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. It's kind of like
he's been playing well too.
Yeah, I got him as like my other receiver tight end kind of guy. So, and I got Anders Carlson as my kicker. He played tonight, so he got a couple of kicks to start me off. And I got 2 defenses. This week I'm starting New Orleans over.
That's not a bad option.
Yeah, over the Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens beat up.
Yeah, so I was like, I I trust New Orleans more than the Ravens right now. So yeah, that's what it is. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown Sportscast. I'm your host, Kory Willis. I hope everyone is doing well on a Friday as we're getting all set for another week of college football. As always,
yes,
yeah, absolutely. We're at week 5 now, right?
Yeah, man.
Halfway towards the season already.
We've learned a lot about some teams, and with another week of football, we're going to learn even more. So, it's about to get real.
It's about to get real.
Entering straight up conference play in the SEC. Every game is a conference game this weekend.
Right. Absolutely.
So we're about to learn what some of these teams are made of.
Yep. And I can't wait as well. We appreciate you guys joining in to listen to the show. As always, if you want to listen to the show, you can listen to us on many streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, and many other streaming platforms. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the show, and let us know how we're doing, and let us know how we can improve for the future. So we very much appreciate you guys' support. As always, I'm here with my good friend and co-host. You just heard him just a second ago. He is Chris Bolton. What's going on, Chris?
What's good, Kory? Man, just ready for us to get into it, man. We got another gift from the college football guys, a good slate lined up for it. So, man, I'm ready to talk about it, man. Let's get to business.
Let's get to it. So yeah, week 5 of the college football season. As I'm looking through the schedule, Chris, there's a lot of games on the slate. We had a nice little list to kind of start out. I'll give you the floor. Which game do you want to talk about first? We can pick anyone on our list that we have. Doesn't have to be in exact order.
Well, okay, man, let's do that then. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think this one might surprise some people. Mm-hmm. Let's get to Duke Notre Dame first. That is the game. That's the game that I have circled this weekend. Okay. So we all saw what Duke did to Clemson to start the season.
Yes.
Home game, conference game, Clemson, everybody excited to see how will Clemson look. What can they bounce back? They've had a little bit of a fall off. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the college football world went ahead and chalked that as a W for Clemson.
Yeah.
But we saw Duke, a really good, really sound, really solid and disciplined Duke team with a dynamic quarterback, come out and get the win. Well, they continue to play well since then. There hasn't been a disappointment. You know what I'm saying? Like, this team has continued to play well.
I know.
So now they take on Notre Dame, a team that's coming off a tough, heartbreaking loss to Ohio State at home. Mm-hmm. Really good football team.
Yeah.
Really good football team. Has some talent across the board. Stingy, physical defense, Mm-hmm. And an offense that can put up points.
Right.
Now, they struggled to against Ohio State. Will those struggles continue against another really good team? So I'm curious to see how they handle Duke's quarterback. But I think this is an opportunity for Duke. They let the world know, we're good. But I think if you beat Notre Dame too to go along with that Clemson win, after we've seen Clemson almost take down Florida State, it's not like Clemson's bad. They've bounced back and played some good football too. And just also one of the top teams in the nation. This can really validate Duke as like a top 12 team in the country in a season where there's a lot of good teams, but nobody just is great. And I think this win can really put Duke as like a top 12, top 10 team in the nation.
I agree. Just by watching that first game, when they took on Clemson, I mean, who knew that they were going to, knock out Dabo in their first week, like the way that they did? But they really showed the gutsiness of the Duke Blue Devils. Like, that team has a ton of players that are playing really good football right now, and hey, that's a recipe for success. So I'm kind of leaning towards Duke this week to take that up.
I agree, bro. Like, and this, I'm someone who's been kind of high on Notre Dame this year too, but I agree. When you watch and see how these teams have performed leading up to this matchup, I think a lot of people maybe in college football, you're going to see some people really, pick Duke to win that matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if some national faces, if that's their prediction. Yeah. So it's going to be a fun one though, because like I said, we're learning a lot about these teams. We're going to learn how Notre Dame responds to adversity. Mm-hmm. You lose a tough one. Because you hear coaches say all the time, we can't let one loss become two. Right. Is that what's going to happen? Or will they show some resiliency and we learn, okay, Notre Dame, they are for real. Like, this isn't a team that is going to kind of fall off and maybe be a solid 3-4 loss team. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is a team that can make a run and get things back on track and rattle off a win streak, and maybe be a one-loss team possibly. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see if they can make that. It starts Saturday though, whether they can.
Right. So all eyes will be on this game on ABC. It's a 6:30 p.m. game. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Sam Hartman does and what Riley Leonard for Duke does as well. I actually like Riley Leonard. Like we talked, I just talked about the toughness just a second ago. Man, like, you remember that run that he had made the first week on the Clemson defense? That really showcased a lot of toughness and grittiness of that guy.
Yeah,
I thought he was down. Like, there's no way that Clemson defense was going to let that guy make the run that he did. That became a touchdown run. Wasn't it? Yeah. Like, it was like a 56 yard or 40 or 56 yard run.
He broke out of there and was gone. Yeah. So, yeah. Man. This Duke team looks good. So I'm excited for that matchup too.
Right. Absolutely. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in this game. Like I said, you got two really good quarterbacks for both teams. Running backs are also pretty good as well, and got some playmakers at receivers.
For sure,
some receivers as well, both teams. So it's gonna be interesting.
It is. And speaking of playmakers, we might as well transition to talk about one of the playmakers in football history, his team, and Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, and how they take on USC, the Buffs, against the Trojans. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a good one, I think. I think Colorado bounces back, personally. I think Colorado bounces back, and this game is closer than what a lot of people are probably anticipating coming off of the loss to Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon and USC are two different style of teams. Mm-hmm. I think USC is a more finesse team. Not to say they aren't tough. Just saying, like, you have Caleb Williams. You're more inclined to throw the ball out there and get it to your receivers. get involved to your outside guys, and they run the ball too. But Caleb Williams is he's someone that you kind of just let loose and let cook, and that's the kind of how USC kind of works. And then with Oregon, they just kind of want to dominate you at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack. Oregon's a really tough team,
right?
Like really extremely physical, like almost like a Detroit. They can be like a Detroit Lions that we just saw on Thursday Night Football. They can be like that at times when it just comes to running the football.
Yeah.
And so I think this is an opportunity for Colorado to maybe make this a shootout. And a learning lesson from last week. And I think, being back home is going to be a boost too. And we've seen USC kind of have some duds where they just depend on talent to win. There's a chance, I feel like, that happens in this game too, where it's a lot closer than people anticipate.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a game I think Deion and his squad take very seriously this week. Just because, man, I mean, we saw that shellacking that Oregon had put on Colorado last week. Deion's.
They have pride. They gotta have pride.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
He's going to, reel something out of those guys. Like, can you respond when adversity hits you? And I think he did talk about a lot of that this week to his team, just in their meetings and everything about responding to adversity. Not being down off of one loss. There's still a lot of football left to be played this season alone. So what can you do to, better yourself and your team to come out the week with a victory? And that's what he's been preaching to them all week. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Just because, the USC, while they haven't been playing, I say, up to the standard that I think USC teams should play, they still have been playing fairly well. And, that kind of makes me go into USC. Do you really want to slip? Do you really want to get caught slipping down in Colorado, where Shadur and them probably feel like it's? I mean, they already felt like this from the beginning, where it's just them against the world. But they're feeling like that after a devastating, humiliating loss.
Right.
Are you going to come into Boulder, with a chip on your shoulder, or are you just going to be like, hey, we got Heisman Trophy quarterback.
Come in there sleepwalking if you want to.
Yeah, we're going to come in sleepwalking
if you want to.
and then we'll wake up for a quarter.
You're exactly right, though. This is going to be, I think, the most focused and sharp Colorado football team we've seen this year. If I know Coach Prime, I feel like we see the great job he's done. I feel like you anticipate and expect his team to be hyper focused to perform in this ball game off of pride alone. Like, guys, we got beat up and down this field. Like, we're not coming out like that this next game and get embarrassed 2 games in a row.
Right.
They got us this game. We ain't finna let that happen again. And I feel like Colorado's liable to score a touchdown the first drive. Like, the script should be crazy. These guys should be trying to click and get on USC and apply pressure instantly. And I think that's how it could start off. And then we'll see. So we'll see if USC maybe matches the energy. But that's the kind of Colorado team I'm anticipating.
Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting, of course. Did you see the video? Well, there were a couple of videos on top of the meetings that he had with his team.
I haven't seen him.
So he was talking. Well, the first one I'll mention, he was talking to his team about a text that he received, and that text was from Travis Hunter. Like right after they lost the Oregon game, he was like, "Coach, I want to play this week. Put me in this week so we can, play well against USC." It was pretty much to that effect. And Dion was like, "No, I care more about you than I care more about you playing this game. Get healthy, and we'll see you when you're back." And that just told the testament of Dion and how much he cares for his players. And you can just imagine, no matter how good you are on any team, you can just imagine someone that changes the game like a Travis Hunter watching that game last week and just probably just thinking in his mind like, man, if I was out there, I could have helped these guys just make some play to have some shred of hope. Not definitely, but he was thinking that, and
he's a competitor. He's built to think that way,
right? Yeah, he's built to think that way, and Dion was Dion probably had expected a response from Travis Hunter shortly after that game, but he has to get healthy, of course, and we all wish Travis Hunter speedy recovery. He's just looking.
He's got to make the ultimate right decision for the long run,
right,
of these players' careers. You know what I'm saying? So he knows Travis Hunter has a huge future ahead of him, and he would want someone to look out for him too. He's been in that position before. He's not naive. You know what I'm saying? He's been a dynamic corner playmaker too. People know Dion for being Coach Prime, but at one point he wasn't Coach Prime. He was Prime.
Exactly.
So he's been in the spotlight. He knows everything that comes with it. He knows probably wanting to go out there and do more for your team, but he knows how these guys are wired, and they're going to want to feel that way, and you're supposed to feel that way in most cases. But Coach got to look out for you. So
yeah,
we'll get him in a few weeks.
Yeah,
when he's ready.
Yeah, I can't wait to see when he returns. But yeah, I saw that video, and I wasn't surprised that eventually we were going to hear something from Travis Hunter about his thoughts on just seeing his team get murdered on the field last week. But yeah, like hopefully we do get to see him soon. But yeah, that was that video, and then there was another video where Dion was doing his weekly presser, and someone in the media had asked Dion about 5-star Cormani McClain, and they had asked him pretty much about, hey, when will we see McClain get out there at DB and get some snaps at corner? And Dion was as open, as honest about it. He was like, it's not going to happen until he sees more.
He stepped up at practice. Okay.
No, he was specifically referring to film time, because Dion is really, really big on his guys getting as much film time as possible. And hey, if I was a coach, I'd probably be the same way. Like, look, if you're serious about beating team A, B, or C, like, look, I'm gonna lock you up in this film room, all right? Like, you're not gonna have me looking silly out here. Look,
I feel
I'll
you
bring
on
the
that.
food. I'll bring anything you want. But you gotta watch this film this week, all right? We gotta get you.
I feel
We gotta get ready for this game. We gotta get you right.
that's the difference, though, in the greats. Dion, as much as we know him to be an athletic talent, he knows football as well. He knew how to read receivers. Was in the film room and knew the defense and everything. So he demands that out of these other talented guys. You were 5-star talent, but are you a 5-star in that film room, like you said, Kory? Like, you know what I'm saying? He wants to see that too. And when that comes, I'm sure we'll see him on the field making plays. But until I guess he dedicates himself, I guess it ain't happening.
Yeah, and that's all he was really mentioning was, and that may he may use that time to put Kory on the spot, but it's all for his growth with the team, and his growth as a player, and just let him know, like, hey, you gotta. We gotta get you to buy in with what we're doing. So, watching film is a must. And if we can get you to watch film to get you ready to help us out each Saturday to help us win games, that's good. But we gotta get you to buy in. So, I understood it. We hopefully this was a learning moment for. McClain, and hopefully we do get to see him soon. So,
for sure, it's only a matter of time, and he'll buy in. Everybody will be happy.
Yep, absolutely.
It's a win-win for everybody. He gets more PT. Coaches get to use his talents on the field.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, before we go and talk about some of the other games, Chris, I think overall. I want to see Colorado bounce back, but I do think USC will edge out with a victory. Who do you have in this game?
I have USC as well.
Okay,
but like I said, I think it's closer than people anticipate.
Yeah,
I think it actually has a chance to be a game in the fourth quarter. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Like USC might drop a dud. It might not be the most cleanest USC game. We'll see.
We'll see.
But USC is they even a dud, quote unquote dud from them should be enough for them to win this football game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. I'll go over the line that Vegas has. They have USC as a 21.5 point favorite in this game. So yep, USC 21.5.
I can see this one being USC by 14-17. So
yeah,
just pulled away at the end. I think it could be close late.
Yeah. No, I agree. So yeah. Any other things you want to mention about this game?
On that one.
Okay.
Well, we might as well keep it in the Pac-12, huh?
I think so. I think we should. I mean, we're already here. We might as well just keep.
Might as well, since we built camp, set up shop.
Yeah, keep the good times
on the West Coast.
Right. Oh man. Yeah.
We got Utah taking on Oregon State.
Yes.
Interesting matchup. Utah remains undefeated. Oregon State looking to bounce back after a tough road loss.
Yeah.
Went to Washington State, and Washington State, kind of put it on them. You know what I'm saying? It was a good win for the Cougs.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this Oregon State team responds. Can he have a big game? I think he'll need one if Oregon State's going to win.
I think so too. I think he's going to have to bounce back big in this game to take the Beavers to victory. Right now he's 59 for 102 pass attempts, 828 yards through the air. He's thrown for 7 touchdowns, and he's thrown for 3 interceptions right now. So he can be better, of course, but after that loss last week, he's gonna be hoping for a better week.
For sure. But I like the Utah defense. I like what Utah has been doing this year. Where is this game at? Is it at Oregon State?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be in Corvallis.
That makes it interesting because the Pac-12 can be very wacky at times.
Look, I think is it just me, Chris, or does it feel like, so ironically, does it feel like the Pac-12 and the SEC in terms of just wackiness and just crazy outcomes, like they've just like switched roles? They're like, hey, yeah, we'll have the crazier games and just all of the great storylines, and we'll give y'all the scraps, of course, that we dealt with for decades now.
Pac-12 got the juice this year, man.
I'm telling
you. There's a lot of good teams playing football in the Pac-12. I like Utah, and I guess the fact that this game is at Oregon State, that makes it a doozy to pick. Because I don't think Oregon State's going to play as bad, play the same way they did against Washington State. I think they're going to bounce back.
I think so too.
So I'm going with Utah, but I will not be surprised if Oregon State wins.
Yeah.
My head says Utah. My heart says, Oregon State's going to win this game.
Yeah, so, I can understand why you make that pick. For me, I am going to go with Oregon State. Just because right now I'm looking at the stats right now. Of course, right now the Oregon State is leading in total yards. Oregon State with 459 and a half. Utah with 322 and a half. So that shows a lot for me that it seems that they can move the football very well, and they have showed that so far this weekend. I don't think with them being at home there won't be any difference with what we've seen these past couple of weeks from Oregon State. So I'm looking for them to control the line of scrimmage and edge out this game with a victory.
I wouldn't be shocked. Again, I don't know what the line is for this one, but I'm pretty sure it's very close.
4.5, Oregon State. That's what Vegas has.
I'm not mad at it. So yeah, we're gonna see. I think we're in for a really good game. But yeah, that being at Oregon State, that
definitely helps.
That makes a difference.
Yeah,
that makes a difference. Yeah.
So I got Oregon State to win this game. Just after losing last week against Washington State. I know last week Utah had that defensive matchup between UCLA, but I think they're going to have to score more than 14 points to be Oregon
I think they
State.
will too. I think they will too.
Yeah.
But I think Utah's defense is for real. And
oh yeah.
Maybe DJ might revert to some old ways, and there might be some more turnovers in this game that kind of creates easier opportunities for Utah to score. I think that's the path to victory if you're Utah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, and I know right now they're using Utah is using kind of like a 2 quarterback system right now between Nate Johnson and Bryson Barnes. Man, I wish we could see Cam Rising play, but man, it's been a couple weeks. We just kind of
it stinks.
Yeah, we just kind of wishing that he didn't get injured, of course. So.
Yeah, I know that's what the staff is thinking. They've still been playing well, enough to win games without him. But if they had him, you can put them in the playoff running too, right there in the mix. They still are currently, have a chance. But I think we really could be talking about this team as a playoff team.
Yeah, with Rising out there,
with the defense that Utah has, yeah.
Look, sky's the limit for that team. Yeah, had not hurt his ACL, man, we be. You just think about all of the quarterbacks overall in the Pac-12 that we would be talking about. With him being out there, Shadur, of course, Caleb, Bo Nix. Like Pac-12 got all the quarterbacks. Michael Penix Jr. Like, man, they just rolling in dough.
Michael Penix, dog. I hope people put a bet on him to win the Heisman with before the season with Vegas.
Yeah,
because the way he's playing football this year,
that man's been playing out of his mind.
If they go undefeated, win the Pac-12, that is your Heisman Trophy winner, ladies and gentlemen. That boy he's playing some football. He's been unhinged this season.
Absolutely.
Like, he's crazy what he's doing on the field. It's too easy for him.
I know. He tore poor Cal to shreds last week. He gave them Bears the business.
He made them Bears like they don't belong in the conference, dog. Like,
oh my gosh, man!
No joke.
I'm telling you,
there's going to be somebody out the Pac. There might be 2 Pac-12 teams in the college football playoff this year.
Look, by the way this
we
going,
might have USC and Washington playoffs, or USC and Oregon, or Washington and Oregon. It might be a combination of those. 2 of those 3 teams might make the playoff this year.
Hey, give it to me. just serve it up on a silver platter for me. Just like I'll be willing to see that.
I think it could very well be Georgia or LSU. I think Georgia LSU comes out the SEC. I don't think 2 teams come out the SEC. I think Ohio State, Michigan, or Penn State. One of those 3 come out the Big 12. And I truly think you're getting USC, Oregon, Washington, maybe 2 of those 3. I would love to put Utah in that mix too, if they had their starting guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
if Rise was
they still, they might battle through the eyes and still might find their way to be one of those. I mean, one of those 4 teams could very well. I mean, 2 of those 4 teams, I think, could make it to the playoff.
Yeah. For all we know, this 2 quarterback system. Hey, it might work. It look like it's working out.
It might. And then you still have Texas right there as well. I love the talent Texas has. Yeah. We got to see, though, can they dominate the league?
Yeah.
Speaking of Texas, So, because we made our picks for that last game, but speaking of Texas, they take on Kansas.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and segue to the Longhorns out in Austin, where they will be hosting the Kansas Jayhawks. So Vegas has Texas as a 16.5 point favorite. Chris, Quinn Ewers right now, he's 72 for 112. He's thrown 1,033 yards through the air and 9 touchdowns. Jalen Daniels, he's 56 for 75, 705 yards through the air, thrown for 5 touchdowns and 1 interception right now. So this is going to be a interesting game, of course. 2 ranked Big 12 teams, with Texas still riding high right now, and Kansas right now. Like, both of these teams are 4-0. So this is a very interesting
game. Yeah, this is it's a legit game. You know, we've seen Kansas have teams over the years. Kansas has had some squads. We were a little young, but I know you remember Aqib Talib and Chris Harris Jr.
Yeah. Those were the days.
The Aqib Talib Kansas team. That team was tough. Made it all throughout the regular season undefeated until they met up with Missouri.
Right.
But Kansas has a squad. They continue to have quality teams, since then. And this is another quality team for Kansas. And again, I want to see Texas dominate for 4 quarters in a ball game. We've seen some really high highs with Texas, and we've seen some lows, some drives that they've had against lower competition, and it's like they're not clicking. It's like, did they forget how to play football? Like, what are y'all doing? We've seen some, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're out there in Austin. I know you and people out in the city talk about this. This team can be kind of all over the place at times, don't you think?
Yeah. I have people always talk to me about how UT's doing and everything, and they're like, man, I don't know, Kory, they're playing good right now, they're winning and everything, but is it just me, or is the team just at a point where they just start off slow in the first half, and then all of a sudden they wake up like, oh, it's time to play football? I thought we were just chilling out in the weight room, just listening to music and stuff,
Yeah, and you might can get away with that being at home, but eventually that's going to catch up to you. And this could be a game where it possibly does if Kansas comes out firing. So, clicking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's another one of the matchups. Spread might be one thing. I think this one the final score could be like a 10.7 point game. It could be one of them.
It could be if Texas decides to play one of those games where they just wait till the second half to play Kansas. They could.
I think that's what's going to happen. I need to see Texas dominate before I pick them to just first quarter from the first to the fourth, just put it on somebody. Of course, they played up to the energy of matching up with Alabama. It's Alabama. They're going to be jacked up for that game and play with hard intensity for 4 quarters.
Right. And if you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Right. Now, will they do that against Kansas?
Hey,
we'll see. We'll see. Can they play with that energy, and can it lead to execution for 4 quarters, and you look like the number 1 team in the nation in a season where it's kind of up in the air for that dominant team? We're just waiting on that one team to show itself. You have the talent to be. Now, can it come out and you show that you are that team for 4 quarters?
Yeah, They're gonna have to show it right now. I'm looking at the stats for both teams right now. Chris, Kansas has the lead in total yardage over Texas right now. They have 463 total yards of offense, while UT has 432.8 yards of total offense. So, like, Kansas knows how to get the football down the field and score.
Right.
You know, whether it's running the football, throwing the football, they can do it. Like, they're a pretty complete football team that people have to be serious about now. So, hey,
they are. So, again, I think it goes further and further to my point that this could be your close game for the weekend of all these matchups. Possibly your closest. We'll see, but I'm taking Texas. They are the more talented team, and they are at home. So you would assume that they get the win. But like I said, this is I think it's going to be a game that I think we'll be watching in the fourth quarter, similar to USC and Colorado. I think it has that kind of feel to it.
Yeah, I'm going to take Texas, but I am going to take Texas to not cover. I think similar to what we had with the UCLA Utah game, where it was very close. I think this is going to be that game in the Big 12 this week.
I can definitely see that.
So, so yeah, I got Texas winning.
I agree,
but not covering.
I agree. Man, another interesting weekend is kind of shaping up to be based off of how we think these games can play out.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it. Get me to Saturday.
Yeah. Give me these games each week. I won't complain. I promise you.
And then, we've covered the Western side of things. Now, I guess we might as well take it down south, huh?
Yes. Let's go ahead and take it down south, where the LSU Tigers will be heading to Oxford, Mississippi to take on the Ole Miss Rebels. As you know, Chris, last week we saw Ole Miss take on Alabama out in Tuscaloosa, and wasn't the game that Ole Miss wanted.
Didn't go well.
Yeah, so that was a rough outing for Lane Kiffin and his squad. One thing about this Ole Miss team, Chris, I didn't know that tight end
Michael Trigg.
Yeah, Michael Trigg is not on Ole Miss's team anymore.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Very talented player, no longer with the team. He had his struggles, so I guess things just didn't work out. He's had some disappointing moments in games. You talk to Ole Miss fans, some key drops. Yeah, the case of the drops that seemed to be his problem with the Rebs.
Right.
But yeah. So that's a player that could was brought in to be a playmaker for your squad. And you don't have him. That's a blow.
Yeah.
So
definitely a blow. So we'll see what Ole Miss does in this game. LSU right now is pretty much riding high.
LSU's been throwing that thing, man.
Yeah,
they've been dicing people up in the air.
I know.
Teams have been asking and begging him too, and Jaden, man, Daniels he's done it.
He's been balling right now. I've enjoyed his play at the quarterback position this year. Right now he's 90 for 124 attempts, thrown for well over 1,200 yards, with 12 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So he's
been cooking.
He's been cooking.
I mean, since that first game of the year where they had their struggles going up against FSU, he's looked ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He looked really. He tore up Mississippi State and there. Did the same thing. Tore up Arkansas. Arkansas came out and was moving the ball against them, and Arkansas scored. LSU turned around and scored.
Yep. Just that easy.
Just that easy. So LSU's offense is humming.
Right.
And I think there's blowout potential in this one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Ole Miss hasn't looked that good.
Nah, they haven't.
They haven't. Their quarterback, Jackson Dart, he's had his moments, but he hasn't taken that step like we wanted him to make. Take another leap in his trajectory as a young, talented SEC quarterback.
Right.
And we haven't seen that. He has his moments, but we haven't seen that. I feel like what we need to see. And I think we've seen that leap made in LSU. So and they have the better players, the better talent. Lane Kiffin is a very good coach. So is Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly is a great coach.
Look, all Brian Kelly has done since that Florida State loss is put his head down and go to work. I can't come after Brian Kelly after what had happened after Florida State. Like, why can't I? Well, he's been doing his due diligence. He's been winning games, and he's been making this team as best as that they can be each week. So
for sure. What's the line in this ball game?
LSU is a 2.5 point favorite.
I think I'm taking LSU to win. I think there's a chance that this can be a statement game for them, and that I think they'll shake back defensively. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen anything from Ole Miss's offense that really has me. I know that we want them to be that explosive team they can be. I wonder if that happens in this game. I really do. Like I said, I haven't just been moved by how they play, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But I really love what LSU's doing on offense.
Yeah, me as well. I think overall, my pick is LSU winning this game.
I would have thought it'd been like maybe a 6.5 point line or something like that. I would have instead of -3.5. I really thought that surprised me. It was kind of right there.
Maybe Vegas knows something that we don't know. Maybe they think Ole Miss is going to come out and they're going to run Junkins down the field, and Jackson Dart's going to throw 50, 60-yard bombers. Like, it's just going to be crazy down there in Vaughn, boy.
Right.
But look, we'll find out. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right. I will say this, and looking at the stats right now, Russian leaders right now, Jackson Dart is the Russian leader for Ole Miss. It's not Junkins.
That's not a winning formula.
No.
It's not a winning formula. And I know Jackson Dart is athletic and has really, really good speed, but Judkins is your NFL player.
Yeah.
Quinshon Judkins needs to be leading the team in attempts and leading the team in yards. That's a winning formula.
Right.
I feel like Lane knows that, though.
Yeah.
And so there is a chance where, I don't know what Judkins' yardage is, if you can do the over-under prop bets and stuff, but, if you feel like it's going to be a ball game, then you should definitely hit the over for his rushing yards, because that's how they're going to be in the game, is if he gets those big explosive plays.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at Quinshawn's yardage right now. So his stats, he has 57 carries for just 201 yards and 4 touchdowns. Jackson Dart has 44 carries for 219 yards and 3 touchdowns. So from what it looks like right now, like they're just not feeding, for whatever reason, they're not feeding Quinshawn the ball enough. I'm not sure if this year Lane's just like, I want to throw the football more instead of running it. I still have a really good back for me in the backfield.
One of the best backs in the country.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. One of the best backs in the country. You don't want to run him?
It's like what the Lions are doing with Gibbs. They'd rather run the ball 30 times with David Montgomery instead of making a split backfield 50-50 and get Gibbs the ball, 15, 16 carries. So it's looking more like they want to make it a split type of deal with him and Dart, and instead of kind of leaning more on Judkins.
I guess.
The carries are almost down, very, very much even. Yardage even, carries not too far off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Judkins getting, if he runs the ball 18 plus times this game,
mm-hmm.
or 20 plus times. We'll just go put the number at 20.
Yeah.
It's a close ball game if he's had 20 carries.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. If Ole Miss decides to run the ball more, I'm not going to fully just write Ole Miss off. I still think LSU is the better team, and I think they'll win the football game. But I think Ole Miss can actually make this a game at home if they run the football and establish that line of scrimmage. If they don't, like I'm telling you right now, Jaden is going to shred them.
And LSU has a good running attack as well. I mean, it's one of those games. Either I think it's a greater chance that LSU wins big, but there is a world where Ole Miss does the things we talked about that we feel like would give them a chance to win and make them successful. Mm-hmm. And it could very well be that 3.5 point spread, kind of ball game where it's a 1 possession game late. So as a fan of watching football, I won't be complaining if that's the case, if that's what happens. I just don't anticipate it, though, based off what we've seen from these two teams this year. Just being real.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to say LSU low-key big.
I think so.
Like maybe 20. 17. Like it might could get like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm taking LSU too. I'm taking them to, of course, cover the spread. And we'll see what happens with Ole Miss. Will they respond after losing to Alabama, or is or is Rome crumbling as what you mentioned a few weeks ago with the Tide. So
right, we'll see.
We will see.
And we got another one, another SEC game.
Yes,
should be an interesting one.
Speaking
at
of
Davis Wade Stadium. Mm-hmm. Yes. Speaking of the Tide, Alabama entering Starkville to take on a Mississippi State team in a game that is I think kind of a lot more interesting, especially for Mississippi State fans entering this year's ball game rather than Alabama games of the past.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Alabama team that seems susceptible for that, maybe a trap game on the road. This isn't your normal Alabama team. So I mean, if SEC team is jacked up and playing some good football on any given Saturday, maybe they beat Alabama. I don't know if Mississippi State does, but I think this game has a chance to actually be a game, though.
I will say this. I think if you're a Mississippi State fan out there, you should be happy for two things. One, this game is in Davis Wade Stadium. Two, you don't have to worry about playing Alabama right after a loss. There's been too many times that once Alabama has lost the game, you're up next on their schedule. You know.
Yep. That's a great point. That is a great point. I think we can continue three, and what makes this game different from LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama really hasn't demonstrated to like have an elite passing attack.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like when Daniels went off against Mississippi State and had the day he did in the air against Mississippi State, he followed that up with another performance against Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama has been through three quarterbacks this year. Like they haven't found that guy who's just established himself as the QB to run this offense and be dynamic with his arm. Right. Granted, it's going to be Jalen Milroe, who is the better of the three options. He will be the starter. But, you know, maybe you attack this Alabama team and maybe you make Milroe have to make plays with his arm and maybe a similar game plan that you thought would work against Daniels. He showed that he can just sling that thing. Can Milroe do what Daniels did consistently, play in and play out and putting it where it needs to be? I mean, we'll see. There's a world where I think it can really be a tough game, especially if Mississippi State plays the style of offense that they displayed against South Carolina, where they can make the explosives, get the ball into Tulu Griffin's hands. He is a dynamic player, one of the fastest players, I think, in the league, in the SEC, and can do special things when he has the ball in his hands against anybody in the league. I think there's a recipe where this is a ball game, just based off the improvement we saw with Mississippi State's offense. It looked very good. They put up 30 points against South Carolina.
Yeah.
They lost. But you saw the offense look well.
Mm-hmm.
You're at home. I don't know. I think it has this smell. That wow.
That aroma.
Of a trap SEC game. You know what I'm saying? It really can be that. I really think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me know if I'm tripping. Is the fandom coming at me, or am I tripping? Like, this is really, like, of all the Mississippi State Bama games, it seems like one that really could be a game.
No, I don't think you're tripping at all. There's a part of me, because I've been thinking about this game all week. There's a part of me that feels like Mississippi State, that coaching staff has learned several things these past couple weeks. Like, they understand that the talent that they have, just from an offensive standpoint, but also from a defensive standpoint as well. The players that they have offensively and defensively is who they have. they have to utilize those guys and put them out on the field in the best way possible to even have a chance of winning. And I think for the first time, if you watched that South Carolina Mississippi State game last week, you saw a coaching staff that at least had that standpoint figured out, to where they were like, oh, maybe it's best to have this person here out for this play than this person. And all it takes is a really good game plan, which you're always going to have a really good game plan when you take on Alabama. But for this coaching staff this week, for State, they're going to have to draw one of their best game plans yet of the season. Like, we have not seen that game plan yet. Could this be the week?
Especially not defensively.
Right, not defensively. Could this be the week where something clicks? And if it does, if they're not, and I think they will be aggressive against Jalen Milroe, because you know what his skill set level is. If they become aggressive with him, or the times that they do, how aggressive will they be? And what will the secondary be like? That's what I'm very
right. Are they going to bring that pressure on the 3rd and 12?
Right.
Which is times have gotten you burned.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of these chunk plays have happened.
Yeah.
Blitzing on a position on down like 3rd and 12, 3rd and long situations.
Right.
Maybe do you not play some contain, some zone, some drop coverage? Maybe make him have to make a throw and dissect the defense, show blitz, bluff, fall back in coverage, and then maybe at times you do bring the pressure. Well, like you said, we'll see. We'll see how they approach.
We'll see. And like I said, like I was gonna say, like, this isn't a Alabama team with just 5-star assistant coaches all around. Like, this is a totally different Alabama coach team. And even their players, while they still have good players, they don't have...
Henry Ruggs isn't on that field.
Right.
Devontae Smith isn't on that field. Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
They don't have those players. Like, the
Tua isn't that QB. Mac Jones isn't that QB.
Yeah.
Hell, for that matter, Blake Sims ain't even that QB.
Right. Exactly. You know, I mean, you got a couple of your players out there. Like, you got your Burtons out there, receiver. You got your Jace McClellans out there. You know, you got those guys, of course, but this isn't this isn't your Alabama All-Star team, of course, that you've
and to go to that point, this isn't those mid-2000 2010 Alabama defenses, them early 2010, you know what I'm saying, defenses that we saw out of Alabama that just, if you got 17 points against them, you did well. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't those Alabama defenses. We've seen some Alabama defenses, boy, that just...
They were beasts. You did not
talk about the Georgia defenses now, but, like, I think we need to go back and look at some of those Alabama defenses, man. They done forgot.
Yeah, you did not want to go toe-to-toe with some of those guys. Like, this defense...
You weren't getting 10 points.
No. You're going to be just like LSU during that national championship. You stayed on the 50. You built the house. You raised the family right on that 50-yard line. You didn't go anywhere else.
You didn't go anywhere. It was rough. Now, granted, they do have a very good defense this year, but it isn't to the level of those defenses, which I think gives you hope that if you have the correct game plan, this can be a game.
Yeah.
And I feel like it will be.
I feel like
I
it
can't
will be
wait
too.
to see what happens, but I really think it's going to be a game.
Yeah, I think so too. Just time will tell. Once Saturday, once it gets close to the game on Saturday, and I think this is a later game. Of course,
It's a night game.
yeah, it's a night
It's a night
game.
game.
Starts at 8 p.m. So that's a pretty late game, of course. So which also plays a little bit of a factor if you're Alabama. I know Alabama's not that far away from Mississippi State, but they don't have to travel that far. But man, you ready to get up and play a football game that late in the evening?
That nighttime, man, on the road. I'm going to make my pick. I'm picking Alabama. I think I'm going to surprise you, though. I'm picking Alabama by 3. I think it's going to be. I'm telling you, I think this is going to be the game that we thought Alabama Ole Miss could be when it comes to being a really, maybe that back and forth affair where it's close both ways, and we got the point swings and stuff. I think State goes toe to toe with Alabama, but I think Alabama gets the field goal to win. Okay. That's why I think how this plays out. Yeah.
Okay. I will go in the direction that's not too far away. I'm picking Alabama to win by a touchdown, a late touchdown. That will give them the lead, and there'll be a little bit of time to kind of make it interesting for State. But I will pick Alabama to win by a touchdown late in the game to escape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, man. It's based off how we our opinions on how the week can play out. I think fans can be in store for another really good week of college football, like of some of the games that we expect to be good, and some games that just keeping it a buck that normally aren't close.
Yeah,
traditionally aren't good games. I think they can be really good games.
Me too.
It's just we got to read the tea leaves. Like nobody is just dominant, and college football is already a game where anything can happen any weekend.
Right.
I think that continues. I think I would not be shocked if we hop on this podcast and we talked about Kansas somehow found a way to win, or Mississippi State does the impossible and delivers the kiss of death, seals the fate of Alabama having a down year, and gets a trap game win, an upset win at home at night in the SEC against a down Bama team. We've seen crazy things happen, Kory. We saw Mississippi State beat number 4 Florida when we was kids.
Yeah,
we saw it just a few years ago, maybe about 5 years ago now. Nick Fitzgerald and a kind of stinky Mississippi State team beat number 4 Texas A&M at home. Crazy things can happen.
So that's one of the things that it's just in the back of my mind right now. I've just been kind of like coasting throughout the week, and with that game, I've just been kind of thinking, I'm like, look, we've been talking about all of these games, Chris. That might be the game that this weekend people are just gonna be like, I can't believe Alabama lost to Mississippi State.
It's set up so well, though. It's set up so well. You got the first-year head coach at Mississippi State, and you got the fall of the dynasty at Bama, and them cycling through QBs. And they found their guy, but he's not as good as the last few guys have been, who've continued to go on to be pros with Tua, Mac, Bryce. It's a whole different Alabama team, a whole different style of football that they're playing now than what they played maybe the last 6 seasons.
Right.
So, and you've seen Mississippi State show some life offensively, and they have some players.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've watched Mississippi State play football, you see they have some guys. It's just a matter, can they get those guys the ball? That's what people have been asking for. They've been asking for Tulu to get the ball.
Yeah.
People be begging for Woody Marks to get the work in the backfield and get all the carries, or your Jaden Walleys to get the ball at receiver.
Where's he been? You talking about people on the back of a milk carton right now.
Man, he's been missing in action for the last 2 seasons. But there's some guys in Starkville that can make some plays, and well, I think it's shaping up to be one of those games. Like I said, if it's close, I think you press the over for Tulu. Whatever, if you can make these prop bets on college players, Mississippi State wide receiver Tulu Griffin, take the over for whatever his yardage is. I don't know what it is, but take the over. He's going to get the ball. He has to. If this team has any chance of pulling off the upset, he has to have one of those games. 9 receptions, 180 yards, and a touchdown or 2 touchdowns. Like, it's going to be one of them kind of games where he just shows his ass.
Right.
If Mississippi State's going to pull off the upset.
Yeah.
And I think he has that game in him. I'm a big believer and fan of his game. He's electric.
Me too. I look for him to probably run some kick returns back.
Something. Dynamic plays. Big plays have to be made. Will be made by him if they have a chance.
Yeah, I think something clicked last week with the offense and them just saying, like, I think he needs to be our number 1 receiver. Granted, he's not like your typical X receiver. I mean, he's not even an X receiver, of course. But if you need a guy like him at the slot position to be your top priority on that offense, feed him. Do anything you can, because you got Alabama coming to town. Like, you got to be all hands on deck. So I look for him to get the ball a lot in this game.
Bang.
But yeah, that's all of the games that we got.
That's it, man. We broke them down for y'all. And now take what you will with that information, and watch us have it all wrong on Monday.
Exactly.
No, for real.
Exactly. We come back on Monday like, look, what we saw. We thought we knew it all. Yeah, right. We thought they had a chance, but we were also wrong. We're sorry.
But, I hope y'all enjoy the podcast. Another great time, and chopping up with my bro Kory. Getting down to it, and just talking about the game, the sport we love, and everything. But you can get at your boy. Follow me on X, at Chris_Bolton_12, and then on Instagram at Chris .Bolton_, and we can chop it up. You want to get at me about my takes? Hey, that's fine. we can chop it up, man. We can have a little back and forth, and you'll catch me talking hoops. You'll catch me talking fantasy football on there. You'll catch me talking some wrestling.
There you go.
So and you catch me talking music sometimes. I love my music.
Yeah.
So new Drizzy Drake on the way.
There we go.
But yeah, get at your boy on there. Holla at me.
Nice. As for me, y'all can get at me on X as well at Listen to KSW, all one handle. I'm on there talking college football, video games, wrestling, all of that good stuff. So, connect with me on there. And, I'm always willing to chat with y'all anytime. But yeah, that is it for us, guys. We appreciate y'all listening in on the show. And, we'll be back next Monday to go over all of the stories that happened in week 5 of the college football season.
Yes, sir. Y'all enjoy. I'll let your boy.
All right, y'all take care. Peace.